The major news on the pandemic tonight, the number of children with COVID now at its highest point since the pandemic began. Children hospitalized at a rate nearly 4 times higher than just a month ago. Thousands of students returning to schools in Florida and soon in Texas, and in both states, some school leaders are now defying their own governors, urging parents to have their children wear masks. And the CDC out tonight with a new forecast now showing that the number of hospitalizations could nearly quadruple to 33,000 a day by Labor Day. Dr. Besser is with us tonight, and ABC's Victor Akendo from Florida now.
Across Florida, the debate raging over masks in schools as thousands of children today started a new year in districts where masks are not required.
We have elementary kids who are not eligible for the vaccination coming into our classrooms, possibly exposing us to COVID. We're in a national, and may I add, deadly pandemic, and the governor is playing politics.
There are more children hospitalized with confirmed COVID cases in Florida than any other state, but the governor has banned mask mandates in schools, even threatening to withhold pay of school boards that require masks. But a handful of Florida school districts are defying the governor's order and requiring masks anyway.
You think your best move right now is keeping the mask on?
Yeah, your mask, whether you're vaccinated or not.
It's happening in Texas, too, where the state's biggest school districts in Austin and Dallas are challenging their governor's ban on mask mandates. The superintendent in Dallas says he is willing to face a fine.
There are consequences for whatever actions you take, and I'd rather take that consequence than have the health of students and staff and families on my mind.
This week, the country's largest teachers union said it will back vaccine mandates for teachers, something Dr. Anthony Fauci supports.
I'm going to upset some people on this, but I think we should. I mean, we are in a critical situation now. We've had 615,000 plus deaths, and we are in a major surge now as we're going into the fall, into the school season. This is very serious business.
And the concern for the young only growing. After falling for months, the number of children being hospitalized with COVID spiking to its highest point on record. In St. Petersburg, Florida, Serena Solomon's 7-year-old son Bryce was supposed to start 2nd grade tomorrow, but he started feeling feverish and was rushed to the ER. He's now in isolation with COVID.
I feel like masks should be mandated in the schools because the kids are catching it as quick and as rapidly as adults.
Tonight, a new projection from the CDC shows the number of COVID patients flowing into hospitals could soar as high as 33,000 a day by early September. Hospitals under siege, Austin has just 2 ICU beds for more than 2 million people. And critics pointing out an irony. While Governor Abbott is looking for help from other states, he is still sticking to his ban on mask mandates. And at Memorial Hermann Southwest in Houston, ICU nurse Jennifer Steenberg and her staff pushed to their limit.
I feel like we've lost this fight. And my nurses feel the same way. We are at the end. There's despair, there's trauma, there's anger, there's frustration. They're putting their lives on the line to fight COVID. What is everybody else doing?
And so let's bring in Victor Akendo tonight. And Victor, I know we're also learning this evening about vaccinated Americans, these breakthrough cases, rare, but they're happening, and that hospitalizations among the vaccinated are also on the rise, just given the sheer number of cases involving this Delta variant.
David, while we don't have the exact numbers, health officials say that the proportion of vaccinated patients has risen sharply along with the rise of the Delta variant. According to the CDC, vaccinated individuals who end up hospitalized tend to be elderly or medically vulnerable, but experts stress that the vaccines are working, and without them, we could have even more people in the hospital. David?
All right, Victor Akendo reporting in tonight. Victor, thank you. And you heard the troubling numbers on children and the virus tonight, driven by this Delta variant. And with millions of school children heading back to school, we know many of you have questions about all this at home. So let's get right to Dr. Richard Besser, someone we know well here, former acting director of the CDC, the president of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and a practicing pediatrician. Dr. Besser, great to have you as always. I wanted to get right to those numbers we heard in Victor's report. We learned just today that the number of children in the hospital now with the virus is now at the highest number since this pandemic began. I know the CDC hasn't said yet if the Delta variant is more severe in children, but in just looking at the math, the sheer number of cases here, we're going to see an increase in severity in cases.
That's right, David. The virus doesn't have to be more severe for more children to be severely affected. If it's spreading rampantly, we're going to see more kids who are cases. Thankfully, most will be mild, but we will see more children in the hospital. And unfortunately, we will see more children who lose their life to this largely preventable infection.
Dr. Besser, we're seeing in some states, and we reported that just moments ago, school leaders in some cases now defying governors, telling parents, please send your children to school with masks on. What about parents, though, who are worried about the other children in class who might not have a mask on? How big of a danger is this?
Well, I think it's important that if parents have a choice, that they do put a mask on their children. I think we need to create space for governors to change their mind, given the situation is different. And parents need to recognize as well that the most important thing they can do for their children's health is get their own questions answered and decide to get a vaccine. That will protect their children and others around them.
I know many parents actually turn to you. You're a practicing pediatrician. What do you say to parents who might say leaders have no right to tell me to have my kid wear a mask at school?
Well, if it were a decision that only affected your child's health, I would say that's great. You can make that choice. But when a child wears a mask, they protect themselves, they protect the children around them, and they protect teachers and staff who may have immune problems that mean the vaccines don't provide them with the full protection that they need. So it's not just a matter of individual choice.
And with just a few moments left here, Rich, I'm curious what you make of these new CDC projections today, worst case scenario, that we could see the tens of thousands of cases by early September if we don't get this under control. Is there anything we can do right now to try to slow the curve here?
Well, the most important thing that we can do is increase the number of people who are vaccinated. And a lot of people have questions. Hopefully the FDA will give final approval to these vaccines, and that will lead more people to consider vaccination. It is the best way forward.
Dr. Richard Besser. Dr. B, always great to have you with us here.
Thanks so much, David.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.